Inside Series 0.2, Clarity or Not of Inner Guidance, from Kubilai moreunable, abbreviation to QBOB. Section 0.2, Unable to comprehend inner guidance with clarity. Theory chunk 0.2. Just because someone can't comprehend the full inner guidance as a systemized model of knowledge for each situation, then that does not mean that this guidance from within wouldn't exist at all. Truth would exist despite. It would be like as if you would say, because I don't understand the depths of a teacher, then neither the deeper wisdom of the teacher would exist, nor her or his separate guidance for different situations would be valid. So all could be ignored. Even the teacher would not be a real teacher, even stupid, as it is claimed often against unprivileged people in Germany, especially if someone unprivileged doesn't sell out. Because scholars are incompetent, unskillful and ignorant. They just claim the teacher, teaching or guidance as stupid or non-existent. Just because an incompetent person is unskillful through their wrong decisions and their wicked seeking, it still wouldn't make objective morality invalid nor guidance from within as non-existent. But this is what present spiritual science claim, if you take their teaching seriously. Because we don't understand morals, it would not exist even if we experience it. So, ancient wisdom would conclude that this spiritual science would be wrong. Just because oppressors suppress others through violence, war, exploitation, and manipulation, like false evaluation, creating self-doubt in unprivileged persons, while claiming most of what an unprivileged one says is wrong, even if it is right, while someone privileged can just copy what an unprivileged one said, and then suddenly it is evaluated as right by an authority, whitewashing, fighting and suppressing someone unprivileged, and stealing from them when they are excelling, so someone unprivileged won't raise in society, except just a little bit if they are lapdogs of races. Just because oppressors do this all, it does not make their superiority claims true, but their wickedness only shows that they are the source of suppression and exploitation, the source of anger and misery of others, and in themselves that create demise on this world and earth only for the selfish benefits. But oppressors claim that morally, unskillfully, as fair, what is wicked. For this, they need to deny morality itself. This is how you would need to look at present spiritual science and westernized economy with ancient wisdom. I can find and use wisdom outside and inside sincerely. This is the harsh truth. The construct of racism was systematized in Germany around the time of Aufklärung, reasoning. Part of reasoning was that you should seek to pleasure, while inferior races could serve you. But this is no real reasoning. You can't make them both fit with each other. Ancient wisdom is in total contrast to past and today's spiritual science. To claim is some wrong Buddhists do, who define their egos with Buddhism. See the Diamond Sutra, which implicates that they are wrong Buddhas or Buddhists if they define their ego as Buddhist. That Buddhism should be adapted to science could be a sign of being unskillful if both knowledge constructs contradict each other. So you will need to compromise the true ancient wisdom that was also delivered by Buddha Gautama for unskillful immoral consciousness of spiritual science. For the following training section, read the manual. Add on after the training section. What is the meaning of clarity? First of all, you should understand just because you don't understand the depths of something, it doesn't mean that it can't be understood. If the guidance of the heart is true, then there is also a bigger concept behind it that can be used and understood with clarity. This form of clarity is obviously very hard to reach, or it would have been already made or revealed by others. In the manual about the right and wrong ways of insight, I also describe one way of insight sparsely, so it won't be used, how to also gain perfect clarity. This process of gaining perfect clarity of the full depth of the guidance through within is actually a very huge strain on the person who needs high inner fortitude to withstand this. As such, I categorize it as a way of inner insight not to be used, as it is also not needed to be used anymore, and I will explain why in the second manual. I already created the objective form for clarity that I will teach step by step if you follow along. As such, you will gain clarity, which also helps with your own insight. Own insight and clarity are not the same. If you did something wrong in your life, as you sought to do harm or sought to live on cost of others, even if it is only to raise temporarily in position, you should try to make this better again. As part of your responsibility, as such trying to raise these who you misused or the group of these involved to such a position that you and others, like in racism, won't be able to repeat the abuse and misuse. This can be a group focus or a person focus, like if this person was someone very important and had high potential that you deliberately try to destroy and you slowed the person down, who could have bettered the world. Your actions are your decisions. The meaning of clarity is, as such, to also boost your own insight, while it is not your own insight, but makes your way of own insight easier. As it is easier, you also have more capacities to also use clarity and insight to especially help who you lived on cost of and didn't care, as this is the only way to make this good again, logically. In all other ways, you could just fake it and do wrong again and again, let them rise a bit and exploit much more of them or the person, as such destroy even more potential as you did them before, slow them down more and more, but claim it is as fine as you would have had helped them enough. You may even attribute the work done by the other as your achieving instead of theirs, while you did not want to help them that much and think you are allowed to decrease their standing again. This is a typical shame used against unprivileged people who did not sell out, especially. To do the bidding of racists for them was letting themselves get corrupted to serve racists. Clarity is not on inside, but clarity is also not the same as deliberately trying to destroy clarity for others, and as such as well for yourself, for your own wrong inside to serve corruptions. I will teach the wisdom of clarity over time. End of section 0.2. Clarity or not of inner guidance can also be expanded to aspects of consciousness of morality or consciousness of higher values. Just because some don't have such consciousness or have not trained in such ways to gain such insight or grasp such aspects, it cannot be denied. And some may don't have such inner consciousness of higher values because they don't want to, and they want to adapt to the wrong and suppress higher perception and recognition of higher values, which then doesn't mean that it doesn't exist, but that they make the effort to be blind of such and become blind of such and become problematic in their insights to grasp even such higher values, which they may want to use to deceive for what seems to be good, to do wrong, but not really seek to do the good or to have the real good inside, from which they also want to guide others away and want to do the effort to find ways to do the wrong, instead to do the effort to find the good ways and the better inside.